MJ, thank you. Governor Jay Inslee rejecting calls from his own party to reconsider his Healthy Washington reopening plan after putting it on pause earlier this week. In a scathing letter, some Pierce County legislators told Inslee his decision to leave their county stuck in Phase 2 made them question whether his decisions were actually based on science and fairness. Brandi Kruse joining us this morning. Brandi, so where does the debate go from here?
Well, in this letter, the Democrats, 8 Democrats, 4 Republicans from Pierce County signed the letter. They threatened maybe a special session if the governor didn't change his mind. And the governor came out with a statement saying he has no intentions of changing his mind. So it'll be interesting to see if those were empty threats or if they'll actually come to fruition. I mentioned that 4 Republicans signed on to this letter. Representative Andrew Barkis is with us live this morning. You were not one of them, sir. As a Pierce County lawmaker, you were asked to sign it. You did not. Why?
Well, good morning, Brandi, and thanks for the opportunity to talk to you this morning. Brandi, we have sent, I think at last total, 45 letters to the governor, and they usually elicit the response that we got from the governor. Not much action. We just completed a 105-day session, and we had ample opportunity. Those same Democrats who put this letter forward had ample opportunity to work in a bipartisan way on some reforms on the governor's powers that could have avoided where we're at with this arbitrary decisions that we saw here this week.
Yeah, and you're right. Republicans spent 105 days trying to convince Democrats that there needed to be some checks and balances on the governor's power. But who cares? Who cares whether they jumped on the bandwagon 2 weeks after the session or 2 years after the session? If you have a group of Democrats who feel this strongly, why not just say, okay, now if you're on board, let's do this?
Well, you know, I'm not averse to going in a special session. I'm proud of them for bringing that forward. We too brought up during the interim before session a half dozen times to come back to special session to deal with situations regarding the COVID pandemic. You know, I'm glad that they're taking these steps. I just feel that a letter is not the proper action. We had this opportunity. We need to take the necessary steps to work together on this. And if they want to do a special session, and the leadership, which comes right out of Pierce County, needs 2/3 to call us back into, I'm all for it. Let's go do this. Let's do the legislation. But I can't, let go of the fact that we just spent a lot of time in session working together to try to do this. And the same issues that we're dealing with today were evident during our session. That's why we brought up Representative McEwen's bill and many others to deal with it.
Yeah, no doubt that this is something that had been discussed prior to this letter, but I want to just, to catch our viewers up, read a portion of the letter and the governor's response quickly and ask how you think Democrats should proceed. So the letter, again, signed by 8 Democrats, 4 Republicans, said if Inslee didn't change course, failure to do so will require us to consider asking our leadership to exercise the legislature's authority to call a special session and weigh legislative options. The governor took a few hours, absorbed that, and responded basically saying, don't care. He said, we have strived to save lives in Pierce County and have done so in a way that has been fair. So what is your expectation of individuals who signed on to that letter given the governor's response?
Well, I think you have to take the next steps. You saw what the governor said. So if they feel that next steps, then it goes to leadership, Speaker of the House and the head of the Senate. Needs to come together and decide if these are steps that warrant us coming back in a special session. Like I said, I'm all for it if they have a plan. We already have the legislation. We don't have to start at square one. We can do that. But I think the broader conversation needs to be really looked at, and that is, we're at 450 days now of the governor's emergency powers. I think it's time we see these inconsistencies, these arbitrary decisions. We have all the things in place now. Maybe we need some legislative action, which we've talked about, to take over back the balance of power, put it back in local control. But the legislators that brought that forward, the Democrats, Representative Levitt, who I really enjoy working with, need to take the next steps now that they've seen the response from the governor.
Representative, we got 10 seconds left, so I want a yes or no. Will they take those steps? You mentioned that it's the head of the House and the Senate, both Democrats, who get to make this decision. What decision will they make?
I don't see us back in special session anytime soon.
Okay. All right. Blunt enough. Well, we appreciate, Representative Barkis, your time this morning. I had to scold you a little bit for not signing the letter just because it is a letter you agree with, you guys in your politics. I get it, though.
That's right.
Okay. Thanks for being here.